I'm going to call the Board of Health meeting for Tuesday, March 12th, 2024, and this meeting is being recorded. So I guess we're going to start with the minutes. Are they in there? Mm-hmm. Hello. I don't know, did you have an opportunity to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess you make a motion.
I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, I'm going to second that, and all in favor?
Aye.
Both of us. Okay. Just in time for the public health nurse update.
Her report is in there as well.
It's in here too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In here. That's not her. Okay.
What was that?
I don't know. Maybe something else on it.
Thank you.
I'm surprised that the line is down.
Oh yeah, it'll be back up. We're just getting into season.
Oh, I know, because I talked to somebody today who got bit by a tick.
Yeah.
Was lucky the first time it wasn't positive, but the second time it was positive. So, and
Yeah.
I didn't know, but the library had a TikTok last week, which I ended up going to, and I call it a TikTok. Blake from Plymouth County Extension goes around and he does talks about ticks and about bugs and
I
stuff.
wish they had told us because I would have put
That's
it on
what
our
I said. We would
page.
have, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They recorded it, so it may
Okay.
end up showing up on cable.
but a lot of people don't have cable.
Oh.
A lot of people don't have cable.
But they can
Do you
go
have
to
cable?
YouTube.
I do not.
I don't
But
have
he can
cable.
go to YouTube.
Do you have cable?
No.
Because we post it on, if we film it, it is then posted on YouTube. So if people wanted to, you could still
Oh,
go to
okay.
YouTube and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the name of our YouTube?
Just Whitman Hanson
Whitman
Cable
Hanson,
Access.
WHC, I can give you the information, it's Whitman Hanson Community Access. And you can go to their page and just about any meeting that you ever wanted to know about in Hanson and some you didn't is on their YouTube.
That's
It's
great.
archived.
All of our meetings are on there as well.
That's where you find our meetings.
Great.
So you don't have to have cable to, but so we're also thinking of having him go into the studio and tape all of his talks. He has one on bugs, he has the one on ticks that he does just for the general public.
What's his name? Blake what?
Blake Dimus, D-I-M-U-S, Plymouth County Extension. He's an absolute wonderful resource. So, okay. So, like I said, I'm surprised.
I
You
did
have
have one.
questions?
I have one question. I read about recall on cinnamon containing lead. Is that anything that we need to address with local distributors?
That has already been addressed.
Yeah.
A lot of that was started at Dollar Tree.
The
All
pouches?
Yeah, the pouches.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say it
then,
was
The
related
applesauce
to
Yeah.
pouches.
And then most of Quaker fruit flavored products that come out of Ecuador, those are all pulled off the shelves.
Okay.
So I've been around to all the stores, make sure that stuff was done. It's been going for a good couple of months now, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything's pretty much off the shelves.
Okay. So this was a continuation of that same
Yeah,
issue
they
that you were
think
on.
Yes.
it might have been the cinnamon in those applesauce pouches that caused the
It's
the
basically-
problems.
Yeah.
Great. I didn't know it was the same issue.
Yeah,
So thank you for
the
the
one,
update.
the one there, banana Wana, that was Dollar Tree. Most of that stuff was in Dollar Tree.
Okay.
Those fruit pouches too, so.
Great.
That's all been pulled off the market, so.
Thanks, Gil. I think that was the only question.
That was
I
the only
this week,
question you
yeah.
had? Okay. And you're working with Mary Collins?
Yeah. So she was talking to Lisa, so 'cause she had the money in her budget, so I'll act as the public health nurse, but services will come out of her budget instead of yours. So
That's awesome. Isn't she great?
It
Yeah,
is. She's
yeah.
very, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say we played phone tag like I can't tell you how many times. So I just stopped in, and she was so happy to see me.
Yes. Probably because she never has a chance to answer
Yeah.
the phone.
Yes. I think so, so.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any more questions. Okay, next. The shared services agreement, I sent the information to you, and I wanted, the person that sort of was overseeing it to give us an update on what's going on, because it is something we had discussed in the past, maybe a couple years ago. But I think that it has merit, it has benefits, so I wanted to talk about it again. I just got that update. The person that I wanted to give us the information wasn't available to do it today by phone. He did send me an updated description of the program. So I had Teresa print those off so that we can all take a look at them at some point and talk about it at next meeting. So I was not expecting to take any kind of a vote today. I just wanted to make sure people had the information.
Thank you for the updated version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will go on next month's meeting. George Harris.
That's me.
Okay. And are you looking to get an installer's permit for the first time in Hanson?
No.
No?
No, not the first time at all. I see your Diaz. Are you related to John Diaz at all?
Yes.
John Diaz and my father were best friends. George Harris, John Diaz, and my father used to repair all of his equipment, and they were real good friends. As a little boy, I remember John Diaz.
So what you don't know is my father was on the Board of Health for 30 years.
Here?
He
signed full. That's great. Look at this.
He knew everybody.
Everybody. Now look, you signed that permit. That was my permit in, what's that, 97? So I think I had 97.
Gil, you were on this too.
Yeah, Gil was on this too. Look at that one. And this is a real one. This is 1985. My first system I did here was in 1985 when Alan Campbell was the chairman. Remember Alan Campbell?
I remember the name, but...
And Eddie Gronlin.
Eddie Gronlin was on forever.
Eddie
Ever.
was a friend. And
Yes.
so what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to install one system in the town. This is I'm retiring now. I want to install my son.
We've heard that a lot.
My son, who was a Hanson firefighter, 10 years, lives
Yep.
on High Street. I want to install a system in his house, and that's it. I'm done. So it's kind of ironic. The first system I ever did,
Was here.
Big
And
Rock
then the
Lane,
last you want to
that's
do.
the certificate of compliance. It's probably still functioning now because I put so much stone in that system, and it's all sand up there on the top of the hill up there. But no, and these are all the many licenses I've had over the last 40 years. I mean, you can go back to, we can say the town of Hanover. I got the Bridgewaters. I've got every town here. I've had hundreds of septic licenses over the last 40 years.
Okay.
And so I don't really need to take a test. I don't need to have
For us, you
multiple
do.
permits. I've
For us,
taken a
you
lot
do.
of them. I've taken a lot of them.
I'm sure you have, and one of the things is we decide whether or not, generally, people have to have a minimum of 2 licenses or other active licenses someplace else, other towns, to get a license in Hanson. And you still have to take the test even though you've had those licenses. So
Right.
our determination would be, would we be willing to accept one license in another town, but you still would be required to take the test?
And I
That's the
assumed that
question.
was going to be the case. However,
Yeah.
I'm,
You'd have to make an appointment to take the test.
and that's what I assumed I was going to do.
Okay.
I've got one active in Carver right now. So
The license?
a license in Carver. I just had the septic inspection done in Carver 2 weeks ago. You know Kevin down there in Carver? Kevin Forbes?
No.
He's been there forever. GAF Engineering. He ran GAF Engineering for many years, and he was my engineer for probably 30 years. I was building houses all over.
Mm-hmm.
But in any event, he just inspected the last system I did in Carver like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So
You actively have, I don't know.
I have one right now. I mean, bottom line is, I could run over to, I could show you Marshfield.
I know you can go to Marshfield and sign up and get one without taking the test.
Or
And
I
that
could go
would
to
give you
Plymouth.
2.
Or I could go to Plymouth.
Any one of those towns that don't require you to take a test, they would allow you to just go and apply and pay.
Well, they make you take a test. But I've had ongoing licenses for years in those towns. I've been doing a lot of work. Like the last 3 years over in Marshfield, I've done a subdivision over there. Built a road, done a subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I could just walk in tomorrow, the Board of Health, girl would just give me the license. So I could spend the, whatever, $500, bring the licenses here. But
Right.
why do that? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. And the license is good for 1 year
That's
Till,
correct.
it's good till December 31st.
of this year. Well, I should have said 1 calendar year,
Yes.
which it starts in
Expires
January.
December 31st.
December 31st.
Right.
I don't know how you feel about that, knowing the circumstances.
Understanding that Plymouth and Marshfield would grant a license without a test, I think that's an
Not with the-
administrative burden.
Not without a test, without another license, or without a test. Is it without a test?
I could walk in there right now, like I said, literally walk in today and walk out without.
But when was the last time you were licensed there?
Last year.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing. If you had been licensed here last year, or the previous 3 or 4 years, you wouldn't have
You
to do a
wouldn't-
test.
Right.
Or provide other licenses. It's just that you haven't been licensed here in at least 10 years.
Sometime, yeah.
Yeah, at least
Yeah,
10
but
or
I know a
11.
lot of towns
Well, because
have
I've
that.
been here for 11 years and I've never met you.
Right,
So-
because Karen Duquette was,
Yeah, and
Yep.
she's
Right,
been
the
gone for like
For a
15
long
years.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
but I was regular here for a long time.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
Gil
yeah.
will tell you,
Yeah.
Just a clarification that because you had a license in Plymouth or Marshfield within the last year, you're not required to take the test, and you would go in and get you just pay $500 to get the permit.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, I'd pay whatever. I'd pay Marshfield 150. I think Plymouth is 225 now.
But it's because he's had a continuing license
Right.
with them.
Right.
He wouldn't have to take the test again, he just would go in, reapply,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pay whatever the application fee is.
The current rule is,
Right.
in Hanson, is you have to have 2 current licenses
Mm-hmm.
and then sit and take the test. If you only have 1 license or no licenses, you have to come before the board for them to okay the lack of licenses in order for you to take the test.
How often do we grant exceptions to the lack of license rule?
A couple, we've granted a couple.
Not
Not a lot, but we have,
Not very rarely. Very rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
I can remember at least one.
I don't even remember one, but
Yeah, no,
Maybe,
I
yeah.
know, we've done at least one. I don't have a problem granting a license, but you definitely would have to take the test.
That makes sense. So the exception to have 1 license, knowing that you've had existing licenses in Plymouth and Marshfield within the last year. And we just want to save you administrative and financial
Right.
burden.
Right,
I do not have a problem.
okay. I think we should take a vote on that, because she's gonna want it in her notes, so I'm gonna ask you to make a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to approve the exception to test with 1 current license in Carver.
Okay, I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you would just have to contact the office to set up the test.
I will do that, and I understand tests on Wednesday.
Wednesdays only, correct?
Yes. So could I set it up for next Wednesday, right now?
Can you call me tomorrow?
I could do that.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
All right. Thank you very
Are
much.
we all set?
And, quick Johnny Deere story.
There's a lot of them.
I was like probably 6 years old, and he had this old truck that hadn't run in a while. So he and my father were trying his old dump truck, trying to get it going. And so they finally got the thing going. Like boom, boom, some smoke comes out, and a family of mice. I'm standing in the back of the truck. Right? I'm running out the exhaust pipe. I'm like, ah! They used to cut the ducks. They used to go out to United Cranberry Bogs out there.
Yeah,
And have to cut the ducks out of the ice, because remember they used to freeze in?
yes.
So my father would be out there, because they worked on the bog pumps, and so they'd be out there cutting the ducks out of the ice in the middle of the winter, and
Yeah.
lots and lots of Johnny
My
Deere.
father died knowing where everything in Hanson was in terms of septic, and he didn't write a lot of stuff down. So Indian Head, there was a question about where their septic system was, and he was the only one that remembered where it was. So he took them to where it was, but it wasn't written down, it wasn't on paper anywhere, but he remembered everything, and everybody knew him because he did everybody's septic.
My mother's
yeah.
94. I talked to her the other day. I said, I'm going to the Hanson Board of Health. She said, oh, tell Johnny Deere. I said, hi, Mom.
He's been on a little bit.
No, I don't
He
think
would have
so.
been about 110 or so.
Yeah. She's on an age herself, so.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, he was at my house all the time, so.
He was everywhere all the time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Back in the day, they would get together, and so everybody at church, there's a couple of families in Hanson that we've grown up like 2 or 3 generations knowing their families. because their father and my father would get together and they'd go to help one neighbor, and they just did that back then, with different trades. So, what is next? No septic plans.
No.
Okay, so where's the paperwork for Shirley?
Okay.
I did not see a resume or anything.
Shirley's been our animal inspector for
375.
5 years. The state requires us, usually at the last minute we get a notice saying, oh, you have to nominate her and have this back to us in 2 days. So, it wasn't on the original agenda because it came in Friday, Monday? When did this come in?
I opened it yesterday, so it probably came in Friday.
So, but it has to be back to them by a certain date.
April 6th.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
And they
Give
did
us
that.
time.
And they
I
give me no
remember them
time, so
doing
I had
that
to-
last year.
I had to handwrite it in on the agenda.
Yeah, I remember them doing that this year. So we just nominate her so she can continue in her role. Her reports go to the,
There are reports from this,
Here.
3 of them, I think.
does she do the horses and
Horses, chickens, pigs, all your barnyard animals.
which we don't do. She takes care of it. And I think she reports to the Board of Selectmen, right?
No, she
No,
reports to you guys.
She has a bond book for the state. She sends
Yeah.
The bond books is what she does for the state. The horses for the state.
So anybody with livestock registers livestock in the town, and
And she'll go if there's any complaints or any issues, she goes out.
Dog bites, anything like that, she quarantines the animals.
and this is her
Reports.
quarterly, yep,
Well,
Yeah.
monthly,
monthly.
but she doesn't.
She doesn't send them in all the time. We might get them once a quarter.
Would you like me to make a motion to nominate?
Shirley Savage Kavicki.
Yes, let me look correctly. I make a motion to nominate Animal Inspector Shirley Savage, Savici,
Savage.
Savage.
Savage
Kavicki.
Vicky. All right.
to continue her role.
I will second that nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have to sign this?
No. That goes back to the state.
It goes back.
This is fascinating.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes some of the stuff that's on there, she's funny because she's descriptive about the conversations that she has with the people.
Yeah.
And when she's going back and...
If you're looking for some light reading, I have years of those.
So, the project discussion, did they not come back?
I don't know. They didn't come back.
They didn't come back.
I thought the understanding was that they would come back. We gave them the date of the meeting.
I didn't, well, this was the people that wanted to know if they could put 2 septic systems on one
Yep.
area.
This was Heidi's Ice Cream wanting to
Do something with the barn.
with the barn, use the additional space in the barn, yeah?
Yes, and they wanted to do, I think, a separate septic system for the barn. And the question the question they asked us was, can we put 2 separate septic systems on one property? And then Terry McSweeney said he didn't see why we couldn't, and we wanted time to look into it as to whether or not the state regs said we could or couldn't. I couldn't find anything.
Brett Road, Terry McSweeney got a hold of Brett Road down in DEP. And DEP says they have no problem with it, there's no problem doing that, as long as it meets the current regulations and flows.
Right,
So,
and
we gotta do so. That was in his email to the board. Excuse me.
Would the second septic system address the flow requirement for the facility and usage? Was my question. I wasn't connecting the dots in the last
It would be
discussion.
totally separate.
So they're
Totally
separate.
separate.
So the facility that exists right now has its own septic system,
Mhm.
and
And
it would continue to only take care of that building.
Yep.
The barn never had anything, so the barn would have to get a new one, and I don't know what they're doing in there,
And
and that
well,
new one would have to conform.
And the first septic system is deed restricted, so they can't add any additional usage
It
to
was
it.
built 4 years ago. It's young.
Right, it's a relatively new system.
Yep.
So what they want to do is demo the current barn because it's not.
It's old.
Yep.
It's very old and in disrepair. Build a new barn and rent it out, is I remember what they said, to
Different.
some type of like bakery or
Small
like a
businesses.
like business.
Mhm.
With a
complementary business with opposite hours.
Correct,
Yes.
with a totally separate septic system.
Yes,
And that
Yeah.
septic system flow rate would meet the requirements of that structure.
Correct.
of that structure when it's
So
built.
whatever it is, they're gonna
Yes.
have to do a little research and figure out what needs to be, because most businesses have a certain type of flow that they need.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So
They
this is
do.
approval on approach, and then they'll send us the plans to make sure it's approval on spec.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, they just wanna they didn't wanna come to us if we wouldn't entertain looking at it.
Right.
And that's, I think, the question. The only thing I saw here was that each one would need to have its own perk, and everything literally would be separate.
Yep.
I didn't see anything else that prohibited it in any kind of way. But I bought this just in case we had questions.
Thank
you. We can look, there's only about 100 pages. So, yeah,
I'm just looking at the notes from 227 to see
oh,
if
go
there's
ahead,
any
go right ahead.
additional concerns. (165) Liberty Street,
Correct.
420 gallon per day, residence and ice cream. In zone 2, it would be 110 per 10,000 square foot of flow restrictions. The property is 91,333. So the total would be, capacity would be 1,001 gallons per day, which would meet, right?
I don't
For the
know.
new building?
I don't
No,
know.
not for the new one. The
We
new
don't know
one
what
is
the
for
size of the new building yet, do we?
No, we don't know the
We don't
size
have
of
that
yet.
information yet.
Were you talking about based on what exists right now?
I'm sorry, I just have, my note says 580 gallon per day limitation on the new business. That's the upper limit. The proposal would construct a second system on site to manage new system and manage new construction of a second system on site to manage the new facility.
Right, so the 550
Requires perk
stays with
testing.
the first one.
Yep.
And yes, and it does require a perk for the second one in its own field and its own everything.
Yep. And meeting all new construction requirements.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And research did not uncover anything that would.
No, the only
be
thing
in
I
conflict
saw
with this.
was that you can have two systems, but they definitely would have to have separate perks. That literally it would be like building them on two different lots.
Yep.
No, that was the only thing that I saw. There were no requirements that said nothing in there that said you couldn't put two on one property.
And-
Most people wouldn't do it because of the cost. But for them, they would have to if they want to use the building.
Right. My only other question would be, is the lot size appropriate for two systems?
Yes.
If it's a big lot,
It's a good sized lot.
Yeah.
Size lot, yeah.
But if they can't get a perk, they're not gonna be able to do it. So,
And the perk test is contingent on the right size lot. You're not gonna pay for a perk test if the lot size isn't conforming, right?
Right.
Right.
no,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
Terry would know if the lot size doesn't conform, he can't put in a field.
Yep.
There's you can't say so many feet away from people's wells, or he would know that we're not going to be able to fit anything in the space that you have.
Right.
That's usually a Mont Ponce thing with the lots of this big.
Right.
It's
But-
a good sized lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the rationale for a decision to allow this approach is the lot size is conforming, it's allowable from our research.
It's allowable, yes.
And both systems would meet lot requirements and perk
Separately,
requirements.
right.
Separately.
They meet all requirements.
And Title V compliant.
And Title
Yeah.
V compliance, of course.
Yep.
I move to approve this approach.
Second?
All
And
good.
all in favor?
Aye.
So they can move forward with looking into it, I guess. I'm assuming Terry will get in touch with you.
I thought they were gonna be here today. I don't know why they're not.
I would have too, but I don't know. And Todd called me. He was not able to come today. He did do, he said he did some work on looking at what we could do in a way that wouldn't have a huge impact
Mhm.
and do it over 3 years gradually. but he's not able to come to this meeting, so I'm hoping he can come to the next meeting to provide us with the information and what the costs are gonna be. But he thought that it was doable, if we did it in a way where there were small increments, that we could get to a point where we would be self-sufficient, or at least be able to pay for things.
And I think he was going to price out the red, black and green for 75 per year and 100 per year as the increase, where right now it's 50 per year.
I think, yeah, no, well, it is 50 per year, and but he said that he was gonna work on that, maybe making a modest increase, which would be annual, and then a modest increase on the bags as well. And so, with the goal of 1 year, it might add so much money, the second year it adds a little more, the third year the cost goes up a little higher and gives us more revenue.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
If you look on the invoices, there's an invoice from Way Zero, the bag price went up effective February 7th. So, there's a little piece of paper that I wrote down what the difference is and
Okay.
everything. So when you look at it,
But they didn't tell us, so we couldn't.
Well, we have a contract with them, and it's good for 2 more years, but it renews, the new price increase is February 7th, because I was looking on the bill, I'm like, that seems high, so I checked it with the previous bill, and I'm like, yep, February 7th, the price went up. So, and it says TBD, so we don't know what the price is gonna be.
Does the vendor inform the new price to the distributor, or does the Board of Health inform the new price to the distributor?
The Way Zero handles all of that.
So when there's a price increase and a Hanson resident goes to purchase bags, that happens at the point of sale?
No, so the bag is, I think, 11, I forget, the board raised it last year, 11.25, 11, so I don't even remember.
I
Per
should
roll,
know, 'cause I buy them.
per roll. So the price is not gonna increase for the resident, the price will increase for Shaw's, the stores that are buying them. They buy them by case.
Okay.
It's a flat rate for the resident, so for large bags, there's 5 bags on a roll. For small bags, there's 8 bags on a roll, but both are the same price.
I'm sorry for my ignorance.
No,
If
that's
they're
all right.
increasing the cost to Shaw's, the price to Shaw's,
Yes,
does the difference get passed on to the consumer or the Board of Health?
neither. Well, it gets passed on to the Board of Health, because the bag price won't go up for residents. The
So what
board
is Shaw's
set-
gonna do until?
The board
yeah.
sets the price for residents.
So we built in a little cushion
Okay.
in the bag price, not
I
a
don't
whole
even
lot,
remember what it
you know,
is.
not even 10 cents, 15 cents, or whatever. So the last time we did the price increase,
I'm
might
looking
have
it up
been
right
2 years
now.
ago,
No, I wanna say it was
last year, and it
Yeah.
might have been, it went up 25 cents a roll. So if they're going up 10 cents a roll, it's still not,
Within the threshold.
there's a little bit of a threshold.
Okay.
So that it's not costing us money, because are we paying for the bags?
Yeah, it went up in July.
And was it about 25 cents a roll?
Let me see, hold on. Bear with me.
So it's not like we're paying.
So it's 11.50.
11.50. I thought it was 11.50.
Effective July 24th.
So do we know what we're paying for the bags now?
It's in the invoice. It's on, there's a bunch of, the black clip. Those are all the invoices.
Got there.
So it's the transfer station one. And there's a sticky on the invoice.
Okay, let me do this as I read.
So their increases now, the new price will be $11.50. And we're gonna look
Yeah.
at the invoice to see what the old price was.
So $11.50
No.
is what we're charging
Charging.
So-
for residents.
Right, so the 11.50 price was increased in July
Got it.
by the board. It's a contract increase for manufacturing of the bags.
Yep.
Like, so every year do they get 2%, 3%, something like that?
I didn't figure out the percentage of what it is. But there's a sticky on them.
When I get to that one,
Yeah.
I figured I might as well do this. And work my way there, sorry. No, that's betterment. It's not even. That's something I haven't heard in a while. We haven't had anybody apply, have we?
Well, because we don't have the money, we don't have the, money in.
We asked for it and we haven't gotten it from the state yet?
Correct. So
Okay.
we had like, I don't know, we had less than $40,000 left.
And do we have
Right
anybody
around
on the wait
40,000.
list?
Well, the person that, this is for has been on the wait list, and he was like, I'll just do, and I'll just put my paperwork in, and if it covers the cost of my system, then great. If not, then I'll pay the difference. And it does cover the cost. We have like 21,000 left.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So,
So-
I did talk to the treasurer collector last week about checking to see when we can anticipate, the other funds from the state.
I'm trying to figure out what this is.
What is it?
T.F. Smith.
That's the installer for Forest Trails Betterment Loan.
Okay.
He's the installer. So that cost is for half of the cost of the system. Why my voice?
And we're talking about the betterment loan,
No,
like
I'm
you
not
know
saying-
what
I'm not
it
saying-
I know
is.
the family is good.
We, every,
Lousy.
maybe 3 or 4 years, can borrow like $200,000 from the state at a set interest rate, and people can borrow money to fix their septic systems when their system's failure and they don't have the money to pay for it, and then they pay it back over time, like over 20 years.
Yeah, so it's,
So that's what the betterment loan
so
is.
generally the town will borrow $500,000
$500.
at a whack, but we'll get 300,000, and then once that's gone, we'll request the additional 200,000.
Yeah.
And it's paid out by the residents over 20 years at 5% interest. There's a 207, and their system has to be failed. We have to have in writing that it's failed. There's a $275 application fee, and there's prepayment penalties if you pay it off within the first 3 years. Because we want it for residents, not flippers.
Right.
So that's why, that was instituted.
What's the interest rate for the resident?
5%.
5%.
Yeah.
And what do we pay the state
Uh,
for interest, like 2?
I don't remember, 3 maybe. 3 maybe.
Do we have select septic installers that we recommend for, or is
We
it?
can't legally
No, we
recommend
can't.
anybody.
They have to pick
do
their
have
own.
to be licensed with the town
Mhm.
in order to install in town.
It's gonna be the last page.
Could be.
I'm at the transfer station
Yeah,
now.
there you go. No, it would be Board of Health. No, I'm sorry, it's not Betterment Loan. Yeah, yes, it would be transfer station.
Yeah, this is, I
I'm
did
getting
that
my
one,
departments confused.
and then I did betterment, and now I'm on to,
What's utilization of the betterment loan like in town?
I think a lot of people use it.
Mhm.
It used to be, you could pay it out, it used to be 0% interest,
Mm.
and you could pay it out over 10 or 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, the 5% interest, they're like, maybe now because interest rates are higher.
5% doesn't hurt as much.
Right.
no, it was
Right.
0%,
And it
we would
had-
have 10 people on the waiting
And
list.
it's
Right.
not based on your credit. So you could have horrible credit,
Right.
and it's attached to your taxes. So it's an additional line on your taxes, so you pay it out 4 times a year on your tax bill.
It's a great service.
It is.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
had the
it is.
program like 25 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used it back when it was 0%.
Mhm.
I used it. It was fantastic.
Great.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There you go.
So this 960, what does this 9068 mean?
Hold on.
82, it's numbers and arrows. Which doesn't tell
Okay,
me.
so, let me look. Bill, all right. So it was, this was the price last month. This is
For
the
a
new,
case.
this is the new price. So the difference in this bill, so if it was the old rate versus the new rate, it's $57.12 more for the month.
But that's a
Based
case.
on, yes, based on, this doesn't need to be here.
Okay, you unclip it as something.
Based on
Yelled
21
at.
cases. So, and the difference between It was 95.32, now it's 98.18 for the smaller bags, so it's $25 difference on the
But
9 bags,
for
right?
that many cases, we don't know
Right,
how
so
many
this
bags
bill
it
is $82.86 higher than it would have been last month, for
But-
the same exact thing.
But how many bags in a case?
Oh, I'll have to go look it up, I can't.
Right,
keep
so
everything in my
we
little brain.
don't know the cost per bag, cause
Yeah.
we just know that it's, to me, looking from this to that,
Mhm.
doesn't look like a huge jump. You're talking $3,
It was
you
like,
know, maybe $3.18, but because it's 21, it looks enormous.
Right,
Yeah,
I
right.
suppose, yeah.
But given the number of units within a case,
right,
we're within the
I don't know.
threshold that we
Yeah.
carry.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're subsidizing the bags,
Right. Because we have built in.
because we have
Yeah,
built in.
When do we build in
Yes.
the next?
We hadn't,
Build in
because
the
we had used this system for like 13 years and we had never raised the price of the bags.
Well, we've raised the price of the bags twice.
Twice?
Twice,
In how many years?
since 2014,
Okay, 10 years.
when pay as you throw it into effect, you know.
Right, so, I mean,
And
that's
that's gonna be
modest.
raised again. When
It will
with
be
the new
raised,
stickers,
yeah.
because that's
Right.
part of the whole
Yes.
package.
So if we're planning a rate change soon anyway, we'll revisit this.
Because we'll use this
And we'll use
knowing
this.
that, yeah,
Okay.
where we need
That's
to go.
why
And
I-
this will also inform the need for a rate change.
That's
Oh, yeah,
why-
yeah, yeah.
The
That's
material
why I
cost
pointed
is
it
also-
out,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I knew it would have to be included
Yes.
in the increase.
Yes. Okay, let me, I have to give these, I might as well start you
No
in
concern.
on my little list here. So that, will you just informing us about that?
Yeah, because I knew it would have to be taken into consideration with the information from Todd.
Okay. And that will be, we'll save that for next month.
The next increase will be next February, and then the contract will have to be renegotiated after that.
Okay. Gil, do you want to do your what?
We can just report it. So we'll start off. The fireworks site, last meeting, it appears that Hanson is going to sign a letter endorsement to the governor tonight, the selectmen are. So all 3 towns have pretty much agreed. Hanover started off there agreeing to it too, and Pembroke's agreeing to it. So letters of endorsement are going to go to the governor, to the EPA, to endorse the Superfund thing. And so, I mean, it's going to be a good year, 2 years before anything happens. But the site now is being geared down. I don't know if you can check, but the lights have been readjusted, so they're not shining into them houses.
Mhm.
And one of the lights, they're shutting off at night or something, so it doesn't stay on at night. So it,
I took a drive through that area
yeah.
one night to see if I could see the impacted light. I did not. That was one night last week. That would have been Tuesday night. So is that around when a change was made, or maybe I wasn't there to?
Well, the meet was, it was February 26th or something, I think.
I'll take another drive through.
Yeah,
See,
just make
just
sure,
to be sure.
yeah.
Okay.
So, also the danger buoys have been put back in place.
Good.
And they're talking about adding 2 more,
Mhm.
because the site is gearing down. That's, there was another thing about, this, it's gonna still do the asbestos abatement thing. That's gonna go on for a year or 2. But the trust is down to like $9 million, and you know, my concern at the meeting also is it enough to shut the site down for the winter, so. And we'll have another meeting next month at the same time. It's a monthly meeting that we go through, so. So hopefully, you know, the ball will start rolling, because all 3 towns now agree. Pembroke, you know, Pembroke was kind of lenient there,
Mhm.
leaning towards the other way, but they've agreed to, join it. 'Cause, it's gonna be, you know, we're talking $400 million, so it's gonna be quite a bit of a deal, so. So that's probably the latest update on that. You know, securing the site, that'll be discussed more in the next meeting, as far as, you know, they're gonna have private security company for security, so. And then, is the Rockland treatment plant again. It's
Yeah, one
blasted-
from the Rockland treatment plant. Yep.
it's blasting another one. This one here, they sent out this time, and it's like 5 million gallons a day. It started, I think, Saturday night, and they're supposed to report, I think it's reported again probably Thursday. Now they advertise this one They advertised it in the Ledger and stuff, so DEP must have made them advertise this one because it's happened so many times now. I think we've had probably 3 occurrences in the last 4 months, 5 months maybe. So it keeps blasting out.
So in the testing that's being done, is that fecal coliform and
Yeah. So
hydrochloride?
it's fecal.
It's just fecal, they're not testing chlorine?
No, they're blasting out chlorine.
Right.
So here's the report if you want to take a look at. I brought that because I know you understand. So this is the report that they did sending to the towns and DEP. So they're blasting it with chlorine, and they've got a sludge buildup too, which I think that creates a bigger problem. I know that when we took the class that time, they didn't really mention sludge, but they got a sludge problem too.
How do they get rid of the sludge?
They're just killing it with chlorine.
Is
Yeah,
that the only way
they
to kill
can
it?
combine it. They can combine it with treated septic, treated effluent. They combine it and dilute it, but in the end, no sludge gets diluted. It still ends up in the overflow. But they're blasting it with chlorine.
Before they're dumping it.
Really don't care.
But what effect does that have on
What it
something in
does,
the water?
I'm not an expert in this, but I would question, like, what's the human impact and what's the environmental impact? The human impact, when it's blasted with chlorine, is that there's not fecal coliform in it. So we're not gonna get, fecal-borne disease
Right.
from the water.
Diarrhea and all that.
Exactly.
But what about what exists in the water? The fish,
the clam flats get shut down.
Right.
The clam flats.
Oh, yeah, they would have to. Who's gonna wanna eat
shut
it?
down automatically as soon as the sun gets
but
out.
the
And it
frogs,
affects
anything else
everything.
that's in the water, how are they
Yeah, what
affected
about
by
the
it?
poor fish?
I think that, like,
That's
that
what
would
I
be a
said.
good conservation question.
Yeah.
From a human health perspective, the chlorine is gonna address the human health risk, but I wonder what the conservation.
What's happening with the-
North South River Watershed, they post this all the time, and it's becoming to be acceptable, but it's still going out.
But what the question is, how does it affect what lives in that water?
Good question. 'cause
Without a
that's-
measured rate, we don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So this is the
Thank you,
whole,
Gil. Sorry.
you need to sign, that's okay.
Yep.
So it's gotta have some effect.
Yeah.
This chlorine is not natural.
And it touches, goes down French's Stream. It's a kind of a small stream to a Forge Pond, and into Drinkwater River, into a Factory Pond. And a Factory Pond Dam, and still the Indian Head River into the North and South River. So it's moving,
And does the North and South River empty out the ocean?
yeah. And that's where the clam flats is shut down for, so. Okay, French's Stream is just I had a couple of days ago, I had another bread delivery at Liberty Pizza. It was delivered at 6:15 in the morning. I found it at 7:45 in the morning. I made them destroy the bread as soon as I could get a hold of the open, so they couldn't use the bread. It was exposed. It was in those plastic crates. It was sitting on the loading dock. Told them before they gotta stop it. They call the company again because we warned the company, do not do it because it's gonna get thrown out. So the other load of bread gets thrown out. It's like 3 trays of bread. This is what happens.
So the company just drops it off?
Yeah, they're supposed to bring it inside. And they were supposed to do that, but must have been a new driver or something, probably couldn't get inside, so it's thrown out.
I don't understand the lack of common sense. If you're delivering product, why would you just drop it and go? How do you know? I don't
It's
know.
easier for you.
Not in the long run. When your boss chews you out because the
Lost
company,
customer, yeah.
the customers
No,
are
you
now
don't have to explain it to
complaining
me, I know.
that they had to replace. You want them to pay for this bread.
The folder.
I didn't
She wants
remove
to
the
double
clip, so.
Oh, yes, and I am not
I'm
sure if I
afraid
finished
at
with
this
this. I know. Put it on the bottom with the non-signed. We won't get in trouble.
I didn't
We
sign
didn't take
anything
the,
yet.
no,
Oh, you
because we
didn't?
didn't take, no, because I wasn't done. We
Oh,
just,
all right.
we got to that and we talked to you.
Sorry, Bill, I didn't mean to interrupt the.
Oh,
Go
no,
ahead.
keep talking.
Go ahead, no, I gotta sign. I gotta stop talking.
So bread was disposed of.
Thrown out. I thought I could throw it out. So, we've had the issues with Wind River. The last 3 or 4 Title V's Wind River's been doing in the town of Hanson. I've been out and observed with them. They've got 2 new guys that are inspecting.
Which company?
Wind River. So they've got 2 new guys, working in town here, so.
But Peter doesn't know that we had issues in the past.
No, I don't have the background on that.
Okay.
With a particular installer who,
Title V inspector.
a Title V inspector, I'm sorry. I believe he passed systems that had failed.
Pass-failed systems.
And it was a giant problem.
Using a camera that he probably should have dug up, because he was using a camera in the D-box. The D-box was supposed to be dug up and exposed and like that.
Right.
And he was cameraing from the tank to the D-box.
But it had a major effect.
Yes, it affected 2 homes dramatically, so.
One person was in the process of selling their property.
Oh, boy.
So that put a huge,
It jeopardized the sale, yeah.
yeah.
So of course, they got 2 young guys that are going to be doing it in Hanson, so it was 3 times they've been out, so which has been pretty good.
And I think we barred that,
And he's no longer
He's no
working for the
longer-
company.
okay, well, we barred him from being able to do any work in Hanson.
Okay.
And then I think he went and did it someplace else too, so. But, yeah, he won't be coming here.
Good. And the observations went well with the 2 new inspectors with that
Yeah.
organization. Great.
Yeah. So also, Friday, house demolition on 461 Monpont Street. We shut that down. Kerry Glass, the building inspector, myself, shut them down Friday. Unsafe construction practices, we'll call it, because they just didn't know what they were doing.
Did they get a permit to do the demolition?
Yes, they had a permit, but the people weren't experienced at what they were doing. They didn't have a clue how to do a demolition, so we shut it down. You probably seen it driving by, but these are the pictures.
I noticed it today, but only because somebody on Facebook asked what was
I
going
know,
on.
that's why I'm telling I got pictures of what took
Everything's
place
on
there,
Facebook.
and they
Oh,
just
after that incident.
the mess. I want to look at it.
I happened to notice it today because I'm like, what are they talking about? Why is the house half down? It's been there for a long time, and 10 years ago I thought somebody lived there, but clearly
It's
nobody's
been a while,
living in
so,
there.
So it's kind of disastrous there. So
Yeah.
So what they decided to do, they're going to tear it apart by hand, and they started doing that yesterday. So that's not working out too well.
Who owns that?
Developer from Stoughton. Used to be
Did you buy it from Corey?
No, Horace Atwood. They're still in the Horace Atwood estate.
Oh, I thought Corey owned it.
No, he didn't. They were gonna buy it, but they just didn't
They
get
didn't.
it together. So
Horace Atwood's another one of those people that everybody around town knew because he had been here forever. So that's why he's saying Horace Atwood.
So the town is still moving on the dog pound thing. They're looking for volunteers, and they really can't do anything until after town meeting. She's got Lisa Green's got money budgeted for the dog pound, trying to regroup it.
What kind of volunteers?
Just people in general, and they're looking for South Shore Voltech to do work there.
Okay. Do you mean cleanup work?
No, and work on the building itself too. So I guess Charlie is working on that with Lisa, and it's moving slow because it has to move slow because there's just no money to fund it.
A lot of work.
So it
and
needs
no money.
volunteers to support building improvements?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of work there, and a lot of people are questioning it why, but because it's supposed to, they thought they had inter-town agreements, but there's not really set agreements with 2 other towns that people thought they were, and no one really knows what the animal inspector does. He's animal control officer.
Mm-hmm.
The people don't understand what he does. He does a very good job in Hanson, and he's very, he does a lot more than we do.
He does a lot more than we pay him for.
Yes, he does. He
Because
does
he
handle
cares?
roadkill. Most animal control officers do not handle roadkill. He does handle, to a certain degree, he'll handle roadkill, and he responds quite well. But nobody really knows the jobs of the animal.
Did he get the
inspector.
truck?
I think he's got the truck now. So that's everything in pretty much a nutshell. I think we've got the paper bags here. That should be all done. They wait for some brackets or something to store the things at the cash register.
Did they give you this is my ongoing CVS issue, them having using
Plastic
plastic bags
bags.
2.5
Are they
years
still
after
using
the
plastic
bylaw.
bags?
Yeah, they are putting in. He just
No.
said they're waiting
Oh,
for
no,
brackets.
the paper should be there now. The
Okay.
paper's there like 3 or 4 days ago. 4 days from that notice I gave you,
Yep.
so that was 4 days from that. So they gave me the order and the.
My son was supposed to go there yesterday, and I said to him, you check in the back, and you check in the front, and come back and tell me if they're paper bags or plastic bags. But he didn't pay attention when he went in, so he's fired. Yeah.
So that pretty much concludes everything. It's really the hot things that are happening, so.
Enough fun for you?
It's all interesting. You always learn something.
Because it's always different.
I know. Is it Steve Mosby, the IT guy?
Moberg.
Moberg.
Okay.
Moberg.
Steve Moberg, okay.
That's
Oh, you
what I
made
didn't
contact with
ask you
him?
about.
I'm gonna ask the same question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Cause, I can't get into the computer, so I've been, like, I'm like, alright, I've had too many reports and too much stuff, like, and we wanna do a yearly thing, so I need to, like, just.
He was saying that you hadn't logged on since
Cause
December.
the password he gave me doesn't work, so,
That's familiar.
So,
So I gotta set up an
why don't
appointment
we
with
just
him.
have her email him directly?
Yeah,
This,
You
this
can.
here, okay,
yeah,
you have an email.
support, I think it's support something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
I don't
can just
understand.
email.
I don't
I'll
understand.
email it to you.
Yeah, when
Well-
you get a chance. And,
Email him
Okay.
multiple times because you will
Alright.
not get answers.
I was just saying, and then the phone updated and I lost the email on it, so I gotta, like my public health nurse email on with, for Hanson.
And I need to get the Board of Health one for Hanson. So
I
that
have the
can
one
get
for
it.
you.
Yeah, but the phone, like, the phone that Gil had given me,
Yeah.
updated and now it's gone off the phone. Like,
Okay.
so I gotta set up a meeting with him
Okay.
Yeah,
and get
please.
both things fixed, and especially if I'm gonna, get involved with council on aging.
I have
So,
email issues, but yeah, you're gonna have to keep contacting him.
yeah, okay.
And hopefully, do you still have the phone?
Yes.
He can
Oh,
help
yes,
you
yes,
with the
yes.
phone. So the phone, the computer, whatever you need.
Yeah,
Because he was questioning the fact that you hadn't been on. I don't think
Yeah.
he took into account that it might be that you couldn't, not
Yeah.
that you weren't.
yeah, Yeah.
But reach out to him and see if you can
okay,
get him to help you straighten that out.
all right,
I'll send it to you. I'll email
Yeah.
it to you.
okay, yeah, great.
Nice to
All
see
right,
you.
nice to see everybody.
Thank
See you
you.
next month.
Bye, thank you.
All right, bye.
Okay. Anything else? I'm trying to think of this. The only other thing I have is next month's meeting is on the 9th, and I would like to start at 4:30. I have a training that day, and it's going to be in Plymouth, and it's over at 4.
Yep.
And doesn't Kevin usually run in here at the last minute?
Sometimes.
Yeah, so maybe that will work for him too. Give him a little bit of time.
4:30 works for me.
Okay. Anything else, Teresa, that we need to look at?
Nope, I don't have anything.
That we haven't? Bill?
No, just, that's it, I think.
That's it? Make sure I had you sign everything.
I have to sign the invoices.
Okay, no, I'm looking here, I have to double check this, she's gonna double check that we both signed these. Okay, then, if there's nothing further, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second, all in favor?
4:50.